What's up, guitar? Happy Bill and Ted Day. Today, Friday, the day of this recording, Bill and Ted 3 come out on Mubi. You can stream it in your homes. They've got it at the Alexandria Theater coming up this weekend with an Elvis impersonator playing before the movie. It's also playing at a lot of drive-thrus around the state. So hope you guys can get out and check out a really rockin' movie that's all about cool rock music. This is an exciting time. If you've never heard of the Bill and Ted series before, check it out. It's really goofy stuff. In honor of that, we're ready to rock. Are you ready, Mr. Zaire?
Ready, Mr.
Let's
King.
do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and... So, what are we talking about today in guitar? I'm going to grab the book right here real quick. For this week's assignment, we're going to move on to the next string in the book. It's the B string. So if you're checking out your book here as I'm talking, we're going on to page 16. Now, at the top of page 16, there are 3 notes that are introduced to you on the B string. Now, to make sure we understand where the B string is, this is the E string. You go to the next one down. That's your B string. B as in boy. So, when you play the string open, you get your B natural. I'll turn this up a little bit here. Okay, this is your B natural. All right, the next note is your first finger on the first fret. Now remember, you want to be as close to the fret as you can get it without actually touching. That's a C. And then the next note that they show you on the page is the D as in dog, and to play that, ring finger on the same string over here on the 3rd fret. Again, not touching the fret, but as close as you can get it. So by Thursday of this week, you're going to turn in recordings of yourself playing example track 7, which is the first example, and then 2-string rock, which is obviously very appropriate because in the movie Bill and Ted, their band name is called the Wild Stallions. That's right. I should probably show you my Bill and Ted socks too, because they're pretty awesome. Oh, can't get them high enough. There we go. Very cool. Totally geeking out about this. This is like, you know, late 30s dad humor type stuff. So anyway, track 7. Here's how this one is going to sound with, I guess, distortion on the guitar. So that's track 7. Now, 2-string rock, I'm going to warn you ahead of time, this one is tough because this is the first time you have to go from string to string, okay? And I'm using a guitar pick here. Obviously, you guys will be, you know, just plucking with your index finger or with your thumb. Whatever your choice is perfectly fine with me. But for this recording, I'm just going to use my guitar pick. And if you guys are curious what guitar picks I absolutely love, if you want to get some of your own, if you can actually find these are the Dunlop USA Gator pick, and that's really blurry. The .58 millimeter. Those are my favorite right now. I used to play on a 1 millimeter, but I like the crispness and the articulation that you can get from a thinner pick with this particular texture. So 2-string rock. Now on this one, the first bar you're playing B, D, E, D. Those are all on the B string. Now the next note that you play in measure 2 is an F, and you have to do that with your index finger on the E string. So one of the things you're going to have to practice doing is going between measure 1 and measure 2. Don't just try and play this example straight through because you're not going to be ready for it. So a good way to practice would be just that much. Just add the next note of the next measure when you have to switch strings. Again. Okay, but the fun doesn't stop there, because in the next measure, one of your next hiccups is going to be going from the second note of measure 2 to the third note. Okay, because you have to go, I'm going to start on the F, which is the first note of that measure. So I'm playing F, open string E, D with the third finger on the third fret of the second string. You're going to be really tempted to do the third finger on that E string, but you got to make sure you're on the B string. So you're going to have to practice this quite a bit too. F, E, D, just those three notes. F, E, and then D. Okay, and those are going to be the spots that you hiccup a little bit on. The other spot is going to be when you go from measure 3 to measure 4. Now, Brian is going to love this spot, Brian. You know what I'm about to say before I even say it, buddy. So the technique that I've been trying to get Brian to stop doing has been rolling his finger instead of lifting his finger. Now, here's a time in music where you actually want to roll the finger, and Brian's got a head start on everybody because he's been doing this since the start of the semester. Right, Brian? So what you're going to do from measure 3 to measure 4, look at the last note of measure 3. That is a D, as in dog. And the next note in the next measure is a G, as in Geisler. And that's on the downbeat. So to play that, watch what my ring finger does right here. Okay? So I'm going to go from the D to the G. See how I just rolled down? D to G. All right, so I'm going to keep these fingers nice and close, so you can see, my cool Wild Stallions t-shirt and, the shirt I've got tied around my waist here, just like Ted from the movie. So I'm going to play through 2-string rock, and I want you to watch my fingers. Pay attention to when I'm, letting my fingers off the fretboard, and then when I'm rolling with the fingers as well. All right, so here we go. This is 2-string rock from the beginning. I'm going to just real nice and slow. Okay, so sorry about the handshake if that looked a little distracting to you there. I was like standing at a really weird angle and it was making my hand do weird stuff. Anyway, that gives you an idea of the techniques that I described there, where you're rolling the finger as opposed to lifting the finger off the fretboard. So please remember, when you're practicing 2-string rock, to do exactly what I said when I first started. Find those 2-note spots where it's going to be hard to go from one note to the next, like the last note of measure 1 going into measure 2, a D to an F. It would be appropriate for you to practice doing this. Just to get used to how that feels. Same thing when you're going from the last note of measure 3 into measure 4, from D to G, where you're going to have to roll the finger down. And some of you wise apples out there are going to say, well, duh, Mr. Geisler, why can't I just bar it and just hold them both down? And the answer to that is you can, but when you're reading music and playing along, you have to think about 3 notes ahead before you get ready to do something, and I can guarantee none of you are going to be thinking 3 notes ahead. Okay, I got to bar these 2 strings down. Okay, I got to be thinking about that. So just for right now, practice doing the Brian method of rolling from one string to the other. Eventually, when you guys get into playing bar chords and stuff, yeah, it's a good thing to know how to bar things together. Like here's a bar chord. I hold up that entire fret, and then I do just get middle finger out of the way there. These 3 strings together with my ring finger, and this is an actual chord. Okay, but we're not ready for that technique yet. I just wanted to address that topic real quick. Okay, so for this week, you guys are turning in recordings of yourself playing track 7 and 2-string rock. Do not wait to get practicing on these. If you wait until the day the assignment's due, you're going to blow it big time and send me email apologies about how the recording quality isn't quite what you want it to be. So get ahead of the game on this one. Practice at least 15 to 20 minutes each day. It's going to develop those calluses on your fingertips, and you're going to be way more successful when you turn in your recordings this week. Good luck. Look forward to seeing you on Zoom. Oh, and happy Bill and Ted Day.